Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking the truth about listing. And you know what? The truth is what works for you will work for you. There are a few, I'm not going to say rules, but there are a few ideas that actually have been proven to work. So if you're a newer seller, these are probably good tips for you. But if you're a seasoned seller like I am, you know that you're going to try different things to see what actually works for you and your business. So first and foremost, we're talking about listings. I am going to do some different things about eBay and Poshmark because they are different things or different platforms. First is photos, because you know what? Honestly, your cover photo is that first thing that people see. We are going to talk about the searchability as well, but once somebody has searched for an item and you're going against all these other listings, your cover photo and the photos in your listing are key to grab that person's attention. So on your cover photo, does clear white backgrounds, do they work? Are they the number one thing that you should be doing? It's a hard and fast rule. No. I prefer white background. I like it. To me, it makes my items stand out better because there's nothing distracting from them. I do believe that Google picks them up much faster or better than something else in the background. But you know what? It's up to you. For me, it adds an extra step into my listing, but it's okay. It's the step I like to take. So a clear white background works for me, but I also know that people can do some elaborate flat lays and that works for them. Some people use a brighter color in the background and that works for them. You just have to make sure that, number one, anything you use in your background doesn't distract from the item that you're trying to sell. So for instance, you're not necessarily going to have a bright pink and white polka dot background with a white and pink polka dot blouse, because you're not going to be able to see the blouse, if you understand what I'm saying. If you want to go all blue backgrounds and do it that way, go right ahead. See what works for you. Also, in your cover photos, especially on eBay, I would suggest that it's only the item that you're selling. So I do know that on Poshmark there are some people that do elaborate flat lays and they have candles or flowers or even a whole outfit or whatever. And it's lovely. They look absolutely stunning. But on eBay, you may run into the problem that if you say there's a candle in with a pair of jeans or whatever, but you're selling the jeans, people might ask you where the candle is. Just saying. So be careful about that. So you have your photos with the cover photo. What I do is when I search for my comps, I also look at the photos. So if something has sold and it sold for good money, I'm going to look at their photos to see what they've done, to see if it's any different than what I do. Also, I look at what's available and I look to see what photos are showing up. And I know that there are sometimes people will use a stock photo. Not that I recommend doing that all the time. We'll get to that in a second. But I have scrolled through and it's the same stock photo after stock photo after stock photo after stock photo. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my phone. So I like to maybe do something different because it will attract the eye. So if you're used to the same and you're scrolling and you see the same photo, and something changes, that may attract you. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your comps and when you're looking at actually listing that item. So make sure the photo is clean and bright and you can see the item, and you choose your background. I do prefer the white background. With your photos, you want to have as many photos as they possibly can let you have, depending on the item. I know that I think the last little haul where I showed you the little candles, I don't need 16 photos of that. I just don't. So I didn't use all 16. But for clothing in that, yes, for the most part, I do use most of those photos. So front, back, sides, bottom, inside, all the tags, material tags, brand tags, size tags, all those, and measurements. I put measurements in my photos. I like to do that. I think it protects me. It also shows the buyer where I'm measuring at. So for instance, on a pair of jeans, I will measure above the waistline, and they can see that clearly in my photos, so that if, and this has happened in the past, where I have measured, and I think it was a pair of shorts, I measured at the top, like above the waistline, and somebody had messaged me saying that they were the wrong size and the measurements were off, but she had measured on the waistband. So I just pointed that out to her. I was like, of course they're off because you're measuring in a different place than I did. Look at this picture. So I do include measurements in my photos. So clear, bright photos, all the tags, everything, front, back, upside down, use all the photos that you possibly can. Now, titles. The title and description is where you get the searchability. So you want to use those words that a buyer is going to use in order to find that item. So they do recommend, brand, style, color, size, sometimes condition. Like I would put in new, not necessarily used, but if it's new with tags, I would add that in. With the style, some clothing brands do have a style name attached to certain items. You can use that if it's a well-known brand and people are actually looking for that style. Some brands, it's hard to find that style name, but that's okay. You could also use the word, like the style trend, if it's boho, cottagecore, kitschy, I can't think, country, things like that, Western. Use those in the title as well. I did forget something about photos that I'll talk about at the end. I just realized that. So in your titles, you want to have those words that are searchable for your buyers to find you. In the description, what I do is I basically restate the title in a different sort of order, but I add more keywords. I add a lot more descriptor words that wouldn't necessarily go into the title, like long sleeve, short sleeve. I can't think right at the moment. I might go more in depth about the color or the pattern, things like that. And I might add in how to style this item, what to wear it with, what occasion to wear it on, like if it's for a wedding or if it's for a barbecue or it's for hiking or something like that. That's for clothing. With hard goods, you might actually, what holiday is it for? A decor item for a country home or something like that. So use those words in the description. Just make sure that those words actually pertain to your item. Keyword stuffing, which I've talked about before, irritates the heck out of me and it screws up the search. So if I have a George t-shirt and I'm adding Aritzia and Anthropology and American Eagle to my keyword stuffing, it'll just screw up the search and you're going to actually tick off buyers because they're not looking for your item, or they think that they're looking for an American Eagle t-shirt and this t-shirt pops up and they think, oh, that's a great t-shirt, and they buy it and it's not American Eagle. So just so you know, don't do that. It's annoying and it screws up the search. Also in the description, I put the size again. I add the measurements in writing. I just like to do that. I think it makes it easier for the buyer. I also add a little disclaimer. I say my measurements are taken lying flat. They're in inches and they are approximate. Just a little disclaimer there. Then I also do condition. So that's two things about photos I have to talk about. So I am honest about my condition. I make sure all the flaws are noted in writing as well as in the photos. I didn't say that before. But yeah, in the photos, I actually make sure that the flaws are there front and center for the person to see. And then I talk about the condition as well. With eBay, you want to use up as many optional item specifics as you possibly can. Absolutely stuff those full, just answer them as much as you can. Answer all the item specifics that are optional on eBay. It does help with the search. All right, so what did I forget about photos? I forgot about stock photos, which is a big thing right now with Sidekick having their AI stock photos, which frankly I don't use. I don't see a need for myself in my business, and that's nothing against that if you want to use it, and I hear good things about it. So it's just not for me. That's just the way it is, and that's okay. If it's going to take me half an hour to find a stock photo for an item, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think that time is worth it as long as I can get a fairly good photo on my mannequin. Now, there are some things that, they just don't photograph well at all. I have an issue, like I have a jumpsuit from Smash and Test that I need to get photographed, and I know it's going to hang on my mannequin like it looks stupid, so I'm going to see what I can find. I don't recommend stock photos because they are not really legal to use. You're not supposed to use them without permission. So do try your best to do your own photos. And sometimes you can get good enough photos that still will make your item sell. You don't have to worry so much about a stock photo. If it takes you too much time to find a stock photo or to create a stock photo, try taking it yourself and see if you can get better and use that time in that way instead. My opinion. That's just my opinion. If you want to use a stock photo, go right ahead. Just make sure that the brand isn't taking them down. And I don't think eBay really likes them, but eBay also has their own sort of stock photo portfolio type thing that you can use from them as well. So I think that's it. Those are my truths about listing. I'm sure I've missed a few things. If you want to put those in the comments, please, and we can learn from each other. I do love the fact that in my comment section, you guys are answering each other as well. Love that very much. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.